have any?
I'm sorry, you moved on too quick.
Go ahead.
I would like to make a motion at this time. We have given several increases this evening. We were given information prior. We talked about individuals with increases, and at this time, I would like to make a motion to give a technology technician an increase, Jesse Smiley, from his current salary. Mrs. Crump, I believe, what, 48? That includes the overtime?
He's at an hourly rate right now,
An hourly.
2017.
I would like to make a motion to increase his pay up to $52,500.
I second for sole purpose of discussion.
Motion by Ms. Warning, second by Mr. Steubenport.
All right, a few questions. This document, Assistant Director of Technology. First of all, I believe that would be a bid position. Is that accurate, Mr. Short?
That's correct, yes.
Okay. And this is something we just got an hour ago. Is that correct?
Before, can I interrupt?
No, I'm asking Mr. Short, sorry.
That's why you voted no.
Well, Mr. Short, that's accurate. We got this just
That
in
is
executive
correct,
session.
but that was not on the agenda.
Okay, so that is why I presented the resolution that we need to get information in advance so that we don't get things 10 minutes beforehand and then vote on it. And then when we insert someone's name to a position that should be bid on, I just think that's wrong. With that being said, I make a motion to table for the fact that administration stated we need more discussion on this matter.
Can I make a comment?
Second.
Sorry.
There's no comment.
On motions to table that are second.
Roll call.
Mrs. Byrne?
No.
Mrs. Cerrucci?
Yes.
Mr. Lapsevich?
No.
Mr. Nola?
Aye.
Mr. O'Donnell?
No.
Mr. Ritter?
Yes.
Mr. Steubenport?
Aye.
Mrs. Warning?
No.
Mr. Williams?
No.
Motion fails to table.
Any
Can I-
more discussion?
I believe I'm not asking for a position name. I was just,
You did say his name.
I said a name. I didn't say a position that was being moved into. There's not a position. We didn't say a director, assistant director of technology.
So you just want to get one of the three active employees raised.
Correct.
If,
Reason,
I'm sorry. Now, the question comes into play based on the Act 93 contract that this individual is an hourly.
We'd have to change it to a salary position, yes.
was
That would
my
be part
question.
of the motion, yes.
Yeah, that's the question I had. So if this motion's adopted, then that position would no longer be eligible for overtime, correct?
Yeah.
correct.
Well, no,
Okay.
not
How
only
fast-
that,
How fast until the grievances come in from the other two employees?
Who knows?
Can I state reasons why I'm asking to have this done? We just voted on ordering 700 computers coming in, Apple computers. We have one technician that has been certified to work on Apples. There's no one else to work on the Apple computers. So being said, when these come in and everything needs to be set up, we're giving one person 700 computers to put in progress, keeping going with what he is still doing. That's
Just for clarification, so the public's well aware, we have 4 people in the technology department, correct?
Correct.
So we have 1 director, and then we have 3, we refer to them in shorthand as techies. So we're now going to give one a raise, whether it be this assistant director of technology or not. So we're going to now have one person in charge of one person, and then that second person will be in charge of 2 other individuals. Correct?
From what I understand, the motion here, that individual would remain one of 3 with.
but you have to give them a new position. If you're going to give them a salary, you got to give them a new position.
Correct, we can't have,
I mean, it doesn't have to be called assistant director of technology, but it has to be a new position.
I mean, it just really looks like we're giving bonuses to friends similar to the $250 bonus. And again, if administration has asked that we hold off and we have further discussion since we got this an hour ago, and I know, Steve, you're a big proponent about not voting on things you got an hour ago, I think we should hold off.
Okay.
I'm wondering,
Can I speak?
Hold on, Mary Beth. George, go ahead.
Chad, when you referred to the $250 bonus, that I was one of the ones that voted yes on it with the custodians and the secretaries and the aides. You know the reason why? Well, like you said, I'm giving the bank away. No, I figured the custodians and the aides were worth more than 10 cents or 20 cents an hour and losing a year or two that they couldn't have retroactive pay. Also, whoever gets this raise from the technology department, no matter who it is, even an outsider, I really don't care. I feel they deserve it is because you got a tier 1 custodian right now is making $20.30 some an hour, and this gentleman that's in charge of all these Apple computers and everything is making about 10 cents more an hour than he is. I think this gentleman is a lot more qualified than a custodian.
Which is fair, but respectfully, the vote for the $250 bonus was made after the vote to approve the contract, which passed 9-0. So if individuals were not happy with the contract, we should have voted down the contract and continued negotiating. And the contract was also approved by the Teamsters Union. So I just want to clarify that. This just, I mean, again, I was hoping I could just, for once, not give a speech about transparency and how dirty these things look. And here we go again, where we get something an hour before the board and we're going to vote on giving someone a friend, name by name. Public, again, has no time to comment on this. It's just, it looks very bad. It doesn't look very bad.
Mr. Williams, may I ask a question, please?
Hold on, John. Mary Beth, you're up.
I'm next.
Go ahead, Mary Beth.
Thank you. Hope you can hear me. I'm sorry. We don't want to have transparency with the peers and the public. They just don't have
Speak up.
just don't want to have police justify the regulations which enforce it. Even though and this is exactly why.
I think she's saying something about it.
Somebody that has to come to the
Would this be considered ironic?
That's our rating.
You're breaking up, Mary Beth.
Sorry, well, I'm not,
Yes, baby.
talk about this, that's disgusting. And we started that it needs more cost. And then we come down here and it's roasted to pass it. So that's the problem.
Can you go off a speakerphone?
Yeah, it's the phone. I was on, did the same thing. Thanks, Mary Beth. Is that all?
Did you want to hear that? Did you hear me?
now we
Go ahead.
can.
Mary Beth?
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Yes.
Yes, continue.
Thank you. Did you hear what I said? I'm finished.
Bits and pieces of it.
I said that we decided in executive session that this is in one thought. And it's not right to come out here and try to pass bridge, we've already talked about it in one discussion. Not to mention the fact about how the friendship with this person, it doesn't look right. And whether or not that's the reason, it's all clear that it's the case. And it is wrong. Get that?
Got it.
Yes.
Thank you.
Mr. Ritter?
Surely, okay, so we're going to get some Apple computers in, and this person is certified specialist in Apple computers, so to help set those computers up. Is that true?
This person is an Apple certified technician.
I mean, this has nothing
I'd
to
like
do.
to finish my question.
Oh, we thought you were done.
Sure.
Go ahead.
Okay, if they're going to configure these computers, are they going to take a year to do student, is this salary increase over a year, or is this set up fee for the year?
I think I can answer that question by asking Bill a question. In 2013, when we did the $3 million purchase, we had purchased more computers at that point in time, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so we have done this previously with current personnel, staffing, with a greater number of computers. But now we need more people, or increased pay for people.
I just think that, I mean, it has nothing to do with the person, or any of this. We discussed this as a new position, and I thought, agreed that we would find out more information about it. I think that's what the administration said to us, that we're going to come back with some more detailed information, and then we'll make a determination. I don't understand why we bring these things up when that was stated how we were going to proceed. Like, it just doesn't make sense to me to rush into something that we just got and we're still working on. Like, we need to be methodical in the way we go about our business, and that is not it. I don't know what else to say.
And I also believe, I think the personnel argument is null and void. I mean, we are getting an intern in that department. Is that accurate?
That is correct.
So we have additional hands, actually more additional hands than we had in 2013 when we had even more computers. So we have more hands, less computers, and our argument is that. Okay. Again, we don't get to this point where you have a balanced budget, a $3.8 million surplus, decreasing the debt service by $6 million by just throwing this stuff out there. I would hope, you voted for Bill to be superintendent, you voted for both those gentlemen to be assistant superintendent. I hope we can trust them when they say, hey, let's just discuss this more. It's in the budget. We've already voted and passed the budget to include an increase in there. So that's a line item in the budget to increase it, and we simply wanted further discussion. I think it's a real shame to the voting public that we tonight voted down a motion to allow for individuals to have 4 days to simply get this motion 4 days in advance, to have the public be able to view something 4 days in advance. So we vote that down, and then we're going to vote on something we got an hour before the meeting. It's really a shame, and the people deserve voting on it.
All right, so I need an answer to my question, John, and I would like Ms. Warning to answer the technical question that I raised regarding the reception and the configuration of the computer. And if she's not able to answer the question, then I think we should go ahead and table this and then get the answer to these questions, because if it's the one-time setup fee, then why would you pay someone an annual salary to do something that only takes 1, 2, or 3 weeks to do? I don't understand that. And so, because I don't understand that, and I do have a technical background, my question to this board is, why are we rushing into this? Yes, that's like before we see.
He's asking you, why, if this is only going to take like a month or two to set up all these iPads,
No, I said a week or two.
a week or two,
A week or two.
or whatever it is, I don't know how long it is, why are we paying somebody, increasing a salary for a whole year, indefinitely actually, when this, he's saying, why can't we just get some temporary help for those couple of weeks or whatever?
For what I'm going to say is during the school year, if something breaks down, who takes care of it? You have one individual.
But that's what he does now, is what he's trying to say. I'm saying out, I just heard him.
So I suppose, my only question with this motion, my biggest concern with this motion would be, I would like to, if we're giving someone that much of a raise, I would like to see some extra goals that he would have as opposed to what he currently has. Just so we're clear then in the future, and especially to try to prevent grievances from other Act 93 employees.
Well, maybe the administration can work on that and come back to us, which is what we said we were going to do.
I'm just talking. I'm allowed to speak my mind, Neil.
16%. I have a question. Val, are you friends with the individual you had named?
I started out work with him.
Are you friends with the individual you named?
No, it's not a yes. I'm sorry, Mr. McIntyre. No, it's a business relationship, if you want to put it that way.
Because shortly after your election, I received text messages for you, which are obviously right to knowable, where you had asked me to meet with the individual, and I said, no, that's not our job. We have individuals in place to meet with individuals. So then to be mentioning him and asking for a 16% increase in pay, when administration has clearly multiple times now asked to reevaluate this. I believe actually on 3 occasions there's a motion to censure me for supposedly hiring friends. I just, again, think this looks very bad and we should reevaluate it.
Amen.
We should vote.
What'd she say?
But this is John. Let me also say I'm not opposed to giving someone a salary increase for greater production, greater skills they bring to the table. But we haven't had the discussion yet, so how can we go ahead and do that when we are not technology experts?
Any other questions or comments? I'll comment. We've spoke about this before in the back room here, and it was an administrative recommendation, and mostly everybody knew the name beforehand anyway, and it was already in the budget. And we passed some other things that we learned in the back room this evening too also. And that's why I am in support of it, because it's an administrative recommendation from the get-go. And that's my reason for supporting it, because I have faith in our administration to do the right thing. Mr. Short we hired along with the 2 assistants, and I feel it's time to support them, and that's why I would support this. That's my own opinion, and that's why I'm supporting it.
Didn't they want to wait?
That was because of what was said in the back room. But I'm saying
Well,
why
no,
I
that's
would
not-
support it. Why
I
I'm
mean,
supporting it is because of that.
But except for I think that I kind of have to disagree with you. I don't like to do that, but I have to, because these other 2 was on the Friday stuff that came out last week, so I actually had time to look at it, and it was on the agenda, so public had time to actually look at it. This one was not. That is the difference. Yes, they were discussed in the back room, but these were on, I know they were on the Friday minutes. I think that the Director of Pupil Services and the payroll person. That stuff was out there. I don't know when Mrs. Crump sent it, but I remember reading it last week. So that information was available. This information was not available. So I have to disagree with you a little bit.
And I would also go so far as to say the reorganizational chart, that project started back in January, correct?
Correct.
And this position was not on during the creation of that, correct?
During that time, correct.
Okay. And at this very moment, do you believe we need more discussion on this item?
In the back room, we all agreed that we would have more discussion on the item.
Okay. And to our assistant superintendents, would you agree we need more discussion? I know you guys weren't heavily involved with the decision from the get-go.
Yes.
Okay. So we
Question.
have all central administration saying we need more time.
Mary Beth?
I say vote.
Yes, you're saying it's going to bring the rest of the sound like it's more discussion.
I say vote.
Okay.
Mr. Schott, question. During the budget meeting, was that position on a chart, showing that position for assistant?
On the chart, yes. Yes.
That was during budget meetings. Excuse me?
She said who put it there?
Wasn't I?
But in January, when the chart was created, there was no.
But at
The
the budget meeting.
organizational chart did not have that position. When we went into the staffing meeting in March, that position was listed on there
So this
as
is,
a proposed position.
And not by yourself, obviously, asking for more time with me.
Yes.
All right,
What'd she say? What'd you say, Mary Beth? Who recommended the position for the chart?
Who recommended the raise, the pay raise?
The pay raise?
Val just made a motion.
Yes.
that's what they said they had a budget for.
Yeah.
Administration, I believe.
Who put it in the budget?
Who put it in the budget?
As far as the salary,
You decide, but this is how the pay raise.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear.
Who asked for a pay raise in the budget? Who put a line item budget increase?
The initial conversation about the actual position came from our Director of Technology, Mr. Michael Brown, through internal meetings that we have had. This happened back in October. We used that time to evaluate the department, understanding that Micah has been working on a number of significant projects, including the phones, including the purchase of iPads and technology, visiting other schools. That left 3 individuals within the department. Not that there were any issues with oversight, but truly no oversight because of Micah being pulled away. So that's when Micah approached us, central office, about adding that position. The position was placed into the budget. It was placed on the personnel piece back in March. It was embedded within the budget for discussion purpose only. It was not advertised for. There was no job description that was put out. We simply wanted to have conversations about moving forward with advertising if the board was comfortable with doing so. During our conversations, it was determined that, for everyone's sake, that we needed more time to evaluate this process and moving forward. The budget was voted on. The position was included within the budget. Mrs. Warning made a motion to approve a salary increase for this one employee, and that's where we're at right now.
Any other questions or comments?
I have a question for the solicitor.
Yes, sir.
If this was brought up and it was not listed 4 days in advance, 1 day in advance, an hour in advance, the public should have time to comment on this. Is that accurate? On a motion for an
It's a
increase?
new item, yes.
Comments from the public? You have to come up to the podium.
I don't understand. This is my 1-year anniversary of coming to the school board meetings, and I got quite an education, I'm telling you. We're talking about $4,800, we're talking about $4,500. When you look at this list, you're talking about $33,000 for windows for the press box and $47,000 to redo the gym floor. I mean, and there was 2 months ago, you spent $93,000 for sports equipment. I mean, it's scary. You're looking at 25% of that $350,000 is spent on sports. That's not counting the sports complex stuff that you need done. It's just frustrating as a taxpayer, and I texted my wife to see what I pay a year. Probably pay about $2,400, which is not bad. My house is valued at about $125,000. But I mean, you spend $90,000, you spend $200,000. Like, no, it's okay. It's football, it's basketball, it's sports, and it's frustrating. You talk about the public, let the public know. Geez, we're like mushrooms. We're in the dark. Thank you.
Anybody else wish to speak?
Give me a minute. I think to just touch on what this gentleman just said, I don't think it's the amount. Sorry?
Can you state your name?
Rick McIntyre, Tilbrook Road. I don't think it's the amount of money that anybody here is objecting to. And yeah, a lot of those numbers that we saw, with the add-ons adding up to the $350,000 are a lot. But every one of those items was available to the public. I've seen them a dozen times over the last 2 months. The public has had a chance to actually see them. The board has had time to discuss them. The administration has had time to get together with the board and decide the best avenue to go. I think the main concern here is that it's not necessarily a bad move, but and maybe I'm hearing it wrong, but this was a position that was created, or at least skeleton position created in the budget. In order to fill that position, wouldn't you then have to put it up for bid?
Advertise.
As per the contract?
Yes.
So I don't see how you guys as a board can just pick a name and put it in there, you know, when this wasn't even made available to anybody. That would be my main objection. It's not the 4,800. You know, these people work hard. I want to see them, you know, make more money, but I think it has to go through the process. So, and I think this is, again, Chad said it 10 times, what he proposed tonight, I really thought it was a slam dunk. I'm ashamed that didn't go through. And from day one until the last day I leave from this board, I'm going to propose the same exact proposal and make that go through. So, thank you.
Any other questions or comments from the audience? Seeing none, we have a roll call vote, Bonnie?
Mrs. Cerrucci. Mary Beth,
What are we voting for?
the salary.
The salary
Increase some
increase.
salary.
Not a position change, but the salary increase.
Well, no, it has to be a position
I'm sorry, say that
change.
again, Mary Beth.
It has to be a position change, she just said.
No, I said I was clarifying the motion, was to change it to a salaried position.
The
And the amount.
the actual position itself would not change.
Correct.
But wait a second. So we're taking the one person in Act 93, we're gonna change them. They still get the overtime, because we're not changing the position, right?
When
Correct?
If the
Give me-
motion was
No, the answer is
classified
yes.
to say, move it to a
Salary.
salaried position,
They come out
it
of
is
Act
no
93.
longer an hourly position.
So if they come out of Act 93, we better have a position for them. So
They
we
can
better
still-
create one.
They
No.
can still be in Act 93 as a salaried position. We do have positions
We would need a
that.
contract.
But when we would need a contract.
No, you can still under Act 93
The
have
Act
salaried
93 has
positions.
one more year remaining on it. This person and the other three, or I'm sorry, two, are in a Category 3 Act 93 position.
Bruce, do you see any legal ramifications?
No, I think Bill's stating it properly.
So wait, so I'm not sure what we're even giving this person. Like, they're an hourly employee, and we're not increasing their hourly wage, though. We're just giving them some extra money? Is that what we're doing?
We would
No.
create a salaried position for
The
this
hourly rate
individual within Act 93 at the rate proposed.
So we are creating a position.
Will they be a 9-month or a 10-month or a 12-month?
This person is a 12-month person.
What does that say the same?
That would stay the same. We're just moving from an hourly rate to whatever the proposed rate Mrs. Warning recommended.
And then we're throwing this out? We're not gonna do this
There
position?
would, at this point,
We wouldn't need it, because we already have to be paying somebody more money.
correct.
Are you in the midst of a vote?
Yeah, we're roll call.
Mary Beth will.
But she's questioning what we're actually voting on, because we're not.
Well, everybody
Exactly, sure.
wants, so it's clear that we weren't discussing.
Okay. No. Mr. Lapsevich.
I don't know, what are we voting for, table on this, or
No.
what?
Giving the person some new
Vote
number,
is to change the
some new raise.
Do an hourly rate to a salary.
Yeah,
Mr. Nola.
No.
Mr. O'Donnell.
Aye.
Mr. Ritter.
No.
Mr. Stubenbort.
No.
Mrs. Warning.
Yes.
Mr. Williams.
Aye.
Mrs. Byrne.
No.
Motion fails.
Okay.